Hi, it's Monday, October 11th, 2010, and we are at the Hamarikyu Gardens near Shiodomi site in Tokyo, and this is another one of the wonderful seeking serenity spots. The Hamarikyu Garden originally started in 1654. Before that, it was used by the shogunate as for falconing. There was a natural sea pond here with a lot of ducks and things like that. And this is one of the few tidal pond areas that uses the ocean water around here to mix in with the fresh water and create a pond. Well, in 1654, the area was built into a park and a home, and then it was further developed over the centuries, so that nowadays we have this park, which was restored again in the Meiji period and in the 1800s, and finally it looks since mid-1700s exactly the way we see it now, except for some of the buildings which were destroyed during the earthquake. So let's go in and enjoy some serenity, shall we? By the way, there's a 300-year-old pine tree in here. Let's go. This 300-year-old pine tree was planted by the 6th Shogun Ieyasu to signify the restoration of the garden area. As you can see, they use a similar style as in Kanazawa to hold up the branches. Good Lord, this is gorgeous. 300 years ago and it still stands. Look at the size of the branches. Mamma mia. This is the largest pine tree in all of Tokyo. Wow. 1709. Hamarikyu is surrounded on 3 sides by a moat, seawater, and 1 side by a seawall. And the seawater comes into the park here and blends with the fresh water to create the tidal pond. Like this. This peony garden comprises about 800 plants and 60 different types of peonies. Looks like a major blooming is over and they keep changing as the season progresses. Wow. It's warm today, it's about 27 degrees, so I'm feeling a little hot in my kilt and my boots. But it's okay, a little bit of a breeze coming up the kilt is always a nice feeling. Anyways, this is called the Inabu Shrine behind me here. And they're not quite sure exactly when it was built. It's in the late 17th century, but they know it was here before the late Edo period. So, it's a pretty old shrine, and it was knocked down during the Great Kanto earthquake and rebuilt a few times. This gate complex is used to adjust the tides for the tide pool, or the Shioiri-no-Ike, coming in from Tokyo Bay. It's indispensable, so they say. This location is the remains of the Umite Chaya, and it was built in 1707. It's okay, no problem. And it was a location for a tea house where you could get the finest view of Tokyo Bay, looking out there. But of course, now we see all the buildings, right? This is apparently one of the best sites in the area, and it was built in 1707. This area is called a Kamoba. It is an area inside the garden built specifically to raise wild ducks and geese. And the water was brought in here to the pond. Thick bushes and trees were planted to provide extra area for the ducks to nest and everything like that. And then blinds were built so that people could watch and feed the ducks. And they would also put tame ducks in the water, kind of like there are some tame ducks in the water over there, to act as decoys and bring more wild ducks into the area. And then they would feed them, fatten them up, catch them, and eat them. Here's an example of how the blinds were built.
They used this to call the tame ducks who would come to get their food, which would then bring along the wild ducks, and the wild ducks would come, and then they would catch them with the falcons as they tried to get away. Talk about brilliance in those days.